Hello everyone. As we have discussed and learnt biotechnology principles and processes in the previous chapter, that was chapter number 11. In that, first of all, what we have learned there was what? The principles of biotechnology as to how a foreign DNA is inserted into a vector DNA, and then it is inserted into an organism which produces a particular product when that particular gene, foreign gene, is expressed inside the host cell. Now later on we discussed about the three main tools of recombinant DNA technology. The first tool that we had discussed was about the restriction enzyme, that is mainly the restriction endonuclease, which is used for constructing an artificial DNA, artificial recombinant DNA, and then followed by the cloning vector, in which we have learnt about the plasmid, the bacteriophage, and also cosmid, which are utilized for constructing the recombinant DNA, that is recombinant DNA construction. And then later on we have learnt about the host, that is a competent host, and some methods are there by which what happens here, that the particular host is made competent so that it is able to accept the recombinant DNA. And after the entry of this recombinant DNA into the host organism or the host cell, what happens, it expresses itself so that the host cell is able to produce a particular kind of product, and generally over here is the protein, with the help of which the particular function is achieved or function is brought about. When we are talking about use of biotechnology, we are mainly referring this to the products which we harvest from the tools or by using the biotechnological techniques, so that we get maximum product by which we are benefited, and most of the cases when we consider about the use of biotechnology, we are getting some products which is useful for mainly human being, maybe for some treatment purpose, or some other products which are utilized here at industrial scale, which are first of all produced at industrial scale, not used utilized first of all it is produced at industrial scale, and then it is available to the general public for the use. And after that we have learnt about the processes of recombinant DNA technology. If you remember, 6 different steps we have discussed in that. First of all was the isolation of the genetic material, followed by cutting of the DNA at a specific location so that small fragments can be available. These are later on separated by the use of electrophoresis, and then these particular genes or the segment of the DNA, they are amplified so that many copies are available and can be easily used for the construction and also for insertion later on, insertion into a particular specific host cell or organism where the particular function or the product needs to be produced. Followed by the fourth step, insertion of this recombinant DNA into a host, what I said. And then the fifth point or fifth step we had discussed was obtaining a foreign gene product. Now for obtaining this foreign gene product, it can be obtained at a small scale like in a laboratory, or otherwise on a large scale like in an industry. And for the large scale production, bioreactors are utilized where different conditions which are necessary for the growth and multiplication, also the production of a particular protein. So all the situations, or all otherwise you can say the optimum conditions are made available for the particular organism to grow and then produce a kind of product. And the last step that we had discussed was about the downstream processing. Downstream processing means what? Starting from, let us say, separation, and then later on purification, packing, and then sending it into the market. Let us take an example of insulin. Now, where, in which part of the country or the world insulin is not available? Insulin is available everywhere. Long back, let us say around 40 years, more than 40 years now. At that time, insulin was obtained from the pancreas of slaughtered cattle. And this insulin, when it was given to a human patient, it caused some allergic reaction, due to which later on what happened, the gene of human being was isolated, and then a genetic knowledge or genetic engineering was used here in construction of a, or otherwise construction of an artificial DNA, which was inserted into the E. coli bacteria, and production or synthesis of insulin was done. And we are using, or the general public, whoever is diabetic, having sugar problem, they are using this insulin which is available from the biotechnology. So this kind of topics or this kind of uses we have to discuss in this new chapter, that is chapter number 12. Chapter number 12, that is talking about what? Biotechnology and its application. You know application का मतलब क्या होता है? यूज करना. Means what? The knowledge or the technique of biotechnology utilized over here for obtaining one or the other product which is made available to the human being, so that our life becomes more easier, comfortable. Now here, when we talk about the biotechnology, this mainly deals with what? It is mainly or essentially deals with industrial scale production. It is not done at a small scale like in the laboratory. How many people will be supplied with the kind of product when it is produced at a small scale like what I said in a laboratory? It cannot be made available to large population. So in order to make it available to large population, what happens here? These products are being produced on a large scale, and that also in the industries. And mainly what product we are getting here? Production of biopharmaceuticals. Something this is related to the medicinal companies, pharmaceuticals, and then also some biologicals by use of GMOs, that is genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified organisms, like some of them are microorganisms, fungi, plants, and in some cases even animals are introduced. Means the animal body, animal cells are introduced with the foreign DNA, that is in the form of an artificial recombinant DNA, so that when this gene which is carried by this artificial recombinant DNA is expressed inside the animal body, that means the cells of the animal is able to produce it inside the body itself, and as a result of that, whatever function it has to perform there, or whatever the protein it has to produce, can be produced inside the body of that particular organism itself. Now some of the applications of biotechnology includes over here, first of all, therapeutics. This is talking about what? Therapeutics. Now this word therapeutic means what? It is something related to the treatment, or let us say a disease is caused in a person, how that disease is going to be healed. So therapeutic means what? Treatment or healing of a disease. The second one is diagnosis or diagnostics. You know that when we fall sick, we land up to a doctor's clinic. Then we have to undergo some checkups, blood test. Like the simplest one is the blood test, and after the blood test is done, some other tests like x-rays are done, CT scan, MRIs are done. So after that, the doctor is able to find out as to what kind of trouble the patient is having, and then only a particular kind of prescription, medicinal prescription, can be done or given by the doctor for the patient, so that what happens, the treatment is successful, and within short time the patient is healed or cured from that particular disease. Next one is genetically modified crops for agriculture. This is development of a modified crop, genetically modified crop, so that what happens, in the field of agriculture, the seeds are available, the plants are available, which can be grown on a large scale, that is by the farmers actually. But these genetically modified crops have to be made available for the general public, so that they can use it and they can grow in their field. And when they are growing, when the farmers are going to grow in their field, large production will be possible, which will be available for the general public. Next one is processed food. You understand what is processed food? So many processed food we are already using it from long time. Bioremediation. This is talking about, this deals with the, you can say, environmental problems. Some pollutants have already been added into the environment, let us say in water or in air. Now how we can get rid of these pollutants? How we can get rid of these pollutants? Whatever changes have already taken place due to pollutant or pollution. Now how we can get back the original or better environmental conditions, like for example water pollution we are talking, chemical pollution, solution in the soil, pollutants have increased, it has got accumulated. How we can use the knowledge of biotechnology, or how we can use the technique of biotechnology to revert back and obtain the condition or environmental condition which becomes more sustainable for the use of human being and existence of life here. Next one is the waste treatment and the energy production. So that means what, these are some of the applications of biotechnology. Now in this, there are three critical research areas. In biotechnology, there are three critical research areas. The first one is talking about what? Providing the best catalyst. Providing best catalyst in the form of an improved organism. And over here mainly organism refers to usually a microorganism, or otherwise an enzyme that has been obtained from different sources, let us say by the use of biotechnology only. So here providing the best catalyst, which may be in the form of an improved organism, and that organism mainly can be a microorganism, or otherwise an enzyme which is made available. Second one is talking about what? Creating an optimum condition. Creating optimum condition through engineering for a catalyst to act. Means whatever conditions are required so that a catalyst can act and it can bring about the changes in a positive direction, so that the catalyst can act. What I said here, catalyst can act in a positive direction, so that for the purpose for which the catalyst was used, that change or the product should be produced at the end. So creating optimum condition so that what happens, the catalyst can act on a substrate and it can bring about the changes for which the catalyst was utilized. And the third one is the downstream processing technologies to purify protein organic compound. Means here we are talking about, if you remember the earlier chapter, downstream processing, that was the last step, starting from the purification, starting from the separation of the product, and then its purification, packing, and then making it available, or let us say supplying into the market. All that are included in the downstream processing. So here once again, downstream processing technologies में क्या करना है, some research is possible. That's why here the topic was what I said, 3 critical research areas of biotechnology. एक बार फिर से, first one is what, talking about providing the best catalyst, maybe in the form of an organism, microorganism, or otherwise pure enzyme. Second one, creating an optimum condition so that a particular catalyst can act on a substrate and bring out the changes for which the catalyst was utilized. And the third one is the downstream processing technologies so that a protein or otherwise an organic compound can be purified in its pure form, so that it is not having a mixture of any other substance. If a mixture will be there, let us say, then the substance, that is let us say organic compound or protein, will not be able to function properly. Some or the other hindrance will be there with its function. And in order to continue and discuss about all these topics one by one, we will be learning in this chapter as to how biotechnology has been used by human being for improving the quality of human life. Biotechnology has been used in the past for enhancing, you can say, or for improving the quality of human life, and that also mainly here we are talking about the food production, and also we are talking about the health. Some time back I had given example about insulin. So insulin is utilized for treatment of diabetes, so that is related to health problem. If you remember, when we had discussed about the health and disease chapter, at that time we had discussed about interferons. These are proteins which are produced by the infected means infected cells. These are infected cells by whom? The virus, means viral infected cell, we can call that. The cells which are already infected by the virus, they produce these substances which are referred to as interferon. What they do is very important here. They protect the other healthy cells from getting infected. मतलब ऑलरेडी वो इन्फेक्टेड खुद हैं, लेकिन ये सब्सटेंस बना रहे हैं, इंटरफेरॉन बना रहे हैं या फिर प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, सो दैट उसकी मदद से क्या हो सके, दूसरे जो हेल्दी सेल्स हैं उनको प्रोटेक्शन मिले. So that is a small part, that is introduction of this new chapter, chapter number 12, that is biotechnology and its applications. The next topic is about biotechnological applications in agriculture. Biotechnological applications in agriculture. Let us continue here. Two main questions we are going to answer here. Two questions that we are going to answer after understanding this topic of the application of biotechnology in the field of agriculture. One is there any alternative path that our understanding of genetics can show so that the farmers may obtain maximum yield from their fields? मतलब कोई और दूसरा रास्ता है, alternative path is there, where what happens, our farmers or the farmers can get maximum yield from their field. And the second one is there a way to minimize the use of fertilizers and chemicals so that their harmful effects on environment are reduced? we have been using these fertilizers and different kind of chemicals, like for example fungicides, insecticide, weedicide, so many sides are there. Side means CID से end होगा, CIDE, insecticide, bactericide. Okay, now all these are sprayed generally onto the crops, but these chemicals, they do not land up on the part of the plant, but some part of that, or let us say more than what is what to say, landing onto the parts of the plant, it lands onto the soil, and then it gets accumulated in the soil, and then leads to the chemical pollution. So these two questions, one is for farmers as to how they can get maximum yield, and the second one is what, how we can minimize the use of fertilizers and chemicals so that it does not have harmful effect, or the whatever harmful effects are there, that we can reduce it. So over here there are three options. There are three options that we can think about for increasing our food production. First of all, there are three main options are there by which what we can do, we can increase the production of food crops. The first one is by use of agrochemical based agriculture. Agro based agriculture means what, chemicals are being utilized here, chemicals are being utilized, but here the chemicals, that is fertilizers and pesticides, are not so much cheap that each and every farmers can afford it. And the second one is the organic agriculture, where there is no use of any kind of chemicals, no use of fertilizer or any other weedicide, fungicide, insecticide, etc. is not used. And the third one is the use of genetically engineered crop based agriculture. This is the best out of these three. First one agro chemical based, second one organic, only organic, and third one we are talking about genetically engineered crop based agriculture. Means what, the seeds that are used for agriculture, for growing the crop plants, if these seeds are genetically engineered, modified, so that a particular kind of character which is carried by a gene can be isolated and then inserted into a particular crop plant. So when this crop plant is going to grow, it is going to grow in the best in its health, and the production will be higher. You know about the green revolution, when we had discussed in chapter number 9, we had discussed in 1960s green revolution was brought about in India, and due to that, what happened, the crop plant were increased, means the yield of the agricultural product was increased. And here we are talking that increase was tripled, actually the food supply was tripled, due to what, due to the success of this green revolution. But still the food that was made available was not enough. It was not enough to feed the growing population in our country, or growing population of human being. And this increase means what I have just now mentioned, the tripling of the food supply due to the green revolution. It was mainly due to three main reasons. Means how this tripling took place, or how the food supply was tripled by the use of this green revolution, that is over here dependent on, otherwise that is responsible or possible here because of these three reasons, partly been due to these three reasons. First one is by use of improved crop varieties. This is the first reason why the food crops or the food supply was tripled. And then second one is the use of better management practices, by the use of, or due to the use of better management practices. And the third one is due to the use of agrochemicals. Agrochemicals, what we have discussed here, agrochemical based agriculture, same thing is mentioned here, that is fertilizer and pesticide use करने से. एक बार फिर से, this tripling or the increased food production has been partly, or that has been possible partly due to the three main reason over here. Out of that, the second point, the use of better management practices, this is the main reason out of this. Once again, let us see that. First one is due to the use of improved crop varieties. Second one is due to the use of better management practice. And the third one is due to the use of agrochemicals, where the fertilizers and pesticides were utilized for the agriculture use. However, still out of these 3 points what we have just now discussed, still there are two more difficulties that are continuously being faced by the farmers. Two difficulties mainly are faced by farmers in developing countries or developing world here. The first one is the agrochemicals are not cheap here. It is quite expensive. What I mentioned some time back, that each and every farmer is not able to afford this. So how they are going to grow and increase the agricultural produce? And the second one is that increase in yield with the existing varieties are not possible by the use of conventional breeding. Means what? Whatever breeding technique has been used from long time. Conventional here refers to many generations we have been using. And so if that same conventional methods are being utilized for hybridization of the crop varieties, or let us say hybridization of the animals, so in that case what happens here, the existing varieties that we have, with the help of the existing varieties, increase in the yield cannot be possible. So the solution, what is the solution over here? See, by the application of agrochemical, we are having difficulty, some farmers are having difficulty with the expenses, that they are not able to buy the improved seeds, or neither they are able to buy the agrochemicals, that is fertilizers and pesticide etc., so that they can use in their field and increase the productivity. And second thing is that by use of the existing variety and also the traditional breeding method, it is not possible to increase the productivity of the food. So what is the solution? Something should be there. So here the use of biotechnology or the use of genetic engineering here will be useful here, because the organisms can be modified, their gene can be altered or modified somehow, so that what happens, we can say here genetically modified organism. Means by the use of genetically modified crops, it is possible to find a solution to the productivity of the crop plants. Use of genetically modified crop is a possible solution, and which all organisms we have been discussing earlier also, that bacteria are there, fungi are there, plants and animals, all these organisms can be their gene can be manipulated, that is their DNA can be altered somehow or manipulated. And if their gene or the chromosome, let us say, or the DNA is being modified somehow, then they will be called as genetically modified organism, in short GMOs. In short, they can be called as GMOs. Now here when we talk about a plant, genetically modified plant, how they can be useful, to us. So genetically modified plant can be useful in many ways. Like some of these, let us see these 5 main points over here. First one is made crop more tolerant to abiotic stresses. Means what? When the plants or the crop plants are modified genetically, then due to the modification of their DNA or the genetic material, what has happened, these crops have been made tolerant, they are able to tolerate द एबायोटिक स्ट्रेसेस. एबायोटिक मीन्स नॉन लिविंग स्ट्रेस, जैसे कि कोल्ड के अगेंस्ट में, ड्राउट, salt and heat. You understand what is cold. Some plants are not able to grow in cold climatic condition. Some plants are there, they are not able to grow in very much dry condition. Drought is the dry condition where water is not available. And then we are having salt concentration here in our state, more salt concentration, mainly when we talk about the Kutch and Bhuj, you know about the salt concentration. So in that soil, what happens, plants are not able to grow well, and so productivity is decreased. And the last one over here is talking about the heat, that is the temperature here. Because of the presence of more heat, what happens, some plants are not able to, or all plants are not able to grow at higher temperature. Second point is talking about the reduced reliance on chemical pesticide. Because of the modification of the gene of the crop plants, what has happened, it has reduced our dependence. Reliance means over here dependence on the chemical pesticides. Chemical pesticide, you understand, that is a chemical which is able to kill the insect pests. So that means the plants are already, their genes are modified or altered so that the plants can become resistant to an insect or otherwise the pest. The third point is talking about the help to reduce post harvest losses. Here we are talking about what, modification, right? No, modification or genetically modified crop plants here has helped us to reduce the losses that we have after the harvest has been done. Harvest has been done, and then some or the other environmental conditions are there, they do not favor us, and as a result of that, post harvest losses result. But because of the use of genetically modified plants here, post harvest losses have been reduced. The fourth one is talking about what, the increased efficiency of mineral usage by plants. Increased efficiency of mineral usage by plants. Now if you remember, one chapter you have learnt, one was water relation in plants. Water relation means here I am talking about what, transport in plants. One chapter was there last in your 11th class, and then mineral nutrition also we have discussed. Now in this case, the fourth point what I am talking here, increased efficiency of mineral usage by plant, means whatever minerals are available in the soil, the plants are able to absorb it and then use it in the synthesis of some or the other biomolecule. So here we are talking about what, the plants which have been modified genetically, they are able to use the minerals efficiently. They are able to use it efficiently. So as a result of which, what will happen here, the minerals which are present in the soil should not become exhausted. मतलब उसका सप्लाई खत्म नहीं होना चाहिए. It should be available for the next season, let us say. And there are some plants which are grown in alternate seasons, so that what happens, whatever minerals have been exhausted, they should be replaced by another crop which is grown in the next season. And that you know about rotation of crop. The crops are rotated every year or otherwise every season, so that the soil should not become exhausted. And the last one here is enhanced nutritional value. If you remember, we have discussed about biofortification. So this is referring to that nutritional value of the food crop is increased. One good example over here is the golden rice, which is enriched with vitamin A. It is rice, but vitamin A is available in this, because this golden rice has been modified genetically to include vitamin A in rice. and that's why the name has been given as golden rice. Now, what we have discussed here, that genetically modified plant we have discussed, how it has been useful. It has been useful. Now, in addition to this, in addition to genetically modified plants, now it is possible here, or it has been already in use, to create a tailor-made plants. To create tailor-made plants means what? Whatever character we want to insert, or we want a plant to carry, that particular gene only can be inserted here. No other harmful genes can be inserted here, so that the plant will be able to supply, or will be able to produce only those products which we want to harvest from it, which we want to get from that. Like, for a very good example, let us say here, like starch, fuels, means some plants are there which can produce good amount or large amount of, let us say, starch. There are some plants which are being used as fuels, some other plants which are medicinal, some other plants are there which provide us some medicines, so pharmaceuticals here. So this point, let us see once again, the genetically modified or genetically modified organisms have been used to create tailor-made plants. Tailor-made means what? Because what I said, whatever character, whatever product we want to harvest from them, those particular plant, only that gene can be inserted, and we can get the supply of these resources which are available or made available to different industries, which are made available to different industries, like for example starch, and then some fuel, and also pharmaceuticals. You know about pharmaceuticals, which are used for the development of medicines, and medicines are now a part. You will find in every family some or the other person is there who is having some kind of sickness, and they are taking the medicines. Coming to the next one here, some of the applications of biotechnology in agriculture are, very good example here is the pesticide. You know about some of the insects are there. We have discussed this in chapter 9 also. Some insects and pests, they attack onto the plant part like root, stem, leaves, flowers, fruits, even seeds. So if suppose that somehow the the gene for pesticide is being inserted into the plant variety, and this plant will be able to produce a particular kind of substance which is going to act against these pests, insect pests, and so insects and pests are going to die. Further infestation or further infection cannot be possible here, and it has been done in the past. If you know about BT cotton, very good example. So here this BT actually stands for the name of a bacteria, or comes from the name of a bacteria which is called as Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis. In short, B and only T has been taken, so that's why BT. So here the toxin that is produced by this bacteria, toxin is a poisonous substance which is produced by this bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis. This gene has been isolated, and then it has been inserted into the plant, so that the plant is able to produce this toxin naturally in all parts of the plant. And as a result, when any insect pest is going to enter and attack onto the plant parts and feed on that plant parts, this insecticidal substance is going to control their growth and multiplication, or let us say growth and reproduction, so that their number or their population is controlled. So here we will be talking about BT cotton first of all, and then there are some other plants that has been inserted with this gene for production of this toxin. The gene was originally taken from the bacteria, what I said, Bacillus thuringiensis. Some other plant that has been inserted with this gene is Bt corn. Then some other plant like rice, tomato, potato and soybeans also have been inserted with the gene, and as a result of that, before the name of the crop comes the Bt, means the gene taken from Bacillus thuringiensis has been inserted into that particular plant, so that the plant itself is able to produce a particular insecticidal chemical, or otherwise let us say a toxin here. We will be discussing this little more in detail in the next topic. A subtopic of this is the Bt cotton. Thank you.